Hello, and welcome to For Your Journey. I'm Mark.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we're going to talk about practice and profession. So you may be familiar with the phrase, practice what you preach. And it seems like lately that has really come to light in the fact that we hear a lot about credibility. And are we credible in our profession of Jesus Christ? Are we credible as Christians? And I don't think it's a topic that we should just glass over and just fly by, but it's a topic that needs some serious discussion.
Yeah, it's at the forefront of minds in culture right now. People questioning the credibility of studies and questioning the credibility of authors or speakers, and that's just a constant thing with the access to information. People are constantly checking things. Credibility is a hot topic.
Yeah, and I think especially when it comes to those who profess to be followers of Christ.
Yeah, because the skeptics are everywhere.
Exactly. And they're like, what does it really mean to be a follower of Christ? Because I see this one person who says they're a Christian and they're doing this or that. And I see another person who says they're a Christian and they're doing something completely opposite. So really, where is it? What's it at? And I think that we need really to reset ourselves to say, I've made a decision to be a follower of Jesus. I made a decision to be his disciple. And therefore, my actions should match my profession.
Yeah, and that's the key of it, is that you've made a decision to be like Jesus, even beyond credibility, even before credibility, is to be like Jesus. That's what we want. That's what we have said we wanted to do. So even if credibility aside, that's what we need to do, is to have our actions be in that image of Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to be like Jesus. Our goal is to emulate him to the world, and not just to be credible.
Yeah.
We want to be like Jesus. And because of that, and because we're working towards that, we will be credible.
Sure. And those actions sort of have a language of their own. They speak the gospel.
Absolutely.
Francis of Assisi has his famous phrase of preach the gospel always, using words when necessary. So kind of just those actions will do their own speaking. And then sometimes you have to also give the very specific presentation of the gospel verbally.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind the power of those actions.
Yeah.
Is that those actions have power to help people to decide to be a follower of Christ or to not. Because there are many people who sit on the fringe who wonder, should I follow? Should I believe? Or is that not the right way for me?
Yeah, and they're asking, what does life look like inside that structure?
Yeah,
if I believe that, what will I be?
Yeah, absolutely. So the actions of the disciples really have some weight to them.
Yeah.
Because people are watching and they want to know, and they say, wow, that is a disciple of Christ. Right. And man, look how they act. Look how they talk.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be like, because that's really different, and that's really something that stands out today.
Sure. And those actions can spark an explosion one way or the other. It's going to be really good or really bad.
Absolutely.
But those actions, that's where the key is, and the power of the gospel is seeing a changed life.
Yeah, we have to realize that our actions do have an effect on others, that people are watching more than ever before.
Right.
And what we say and what we do does have an effect.
And those actions aren't always something that someone sees you doing. Sometimes they're seeing your messages portrayed on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchats or Instagrams. Like all of those things are a way of projecting something towards others.
Yeah, and that's something we really have to be mindful of, because sometimes we just put it out there and we don't even know who's receiving it because of how all things are connected in social media.
Right.
We don't know who's going to receive that message in the end.
Yeah.
And how many places it's going to go. And
there's a sense of like impermanence about it. Like you're just like, oh, it's going to be gone soon. It's just going to go down the news feed. But not always. Sometimes someone's going to see that, and that's key.
Yeah.
That's important.
And also, it can go on and on. Like we may think it's going to go to this small audience, and it ends up going to a much greater audience because things can be shared, things can be forwarded, things can be passed on.
It runs rampant, and you never expect it.
Exactly. And you may say, okay, I only want this for my small group who know me really well.
Yeah.
So they know my ins and outs, and they know who I'm not and who I am, and they accept me for who I am. They know all the things I do wrong.
Yeah.
But if it goes out to a farther audience, to a greater reach, they might not see it the same way.
Yeah. And then we got to be careful not to fall kind of down the other end too of then it becomes like some kind of image management.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got to appear credible. So I gotta say the right stuff on my Facebook and my Twitter so that it presents a good image. Oh, okay, just in case an employer checks my Facebook, I want it to look tidy or look clean.
But that's not really who I am.
Right. So it can be that way too, that we don't want to manage our image in a way that tries to portray us more altruistic than we are too.
Yeah, we give off the fact that I want to act like a Christian and sound like a Christian and put the show on like I'm a Christian, pretend that I'm a Christian. But then when somebody meets us and somebody spends some time with us, they get a much different story.
Sure.
And that hurts not just us and it hurts them. It hurts the whole mission of Christianity.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's another side to that image management coin too of you may be acting righteously. You may be doing the right stuff. You might be following Jesus' example. But then you might not be following Jesus' example when it comes to kind of broadcasting your righteousness. Jesus gives a pretty good example. He's in the habit of doing that. In Matthew 6:16, he says, "Moreover, when you fast, do not be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they disfigured their faces, that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward." So in the context of fasting, he's using that example that even if you are fasting, then don't go about trying to appear like you're fasting. Yeah. Just do the good thing for its good thing.
Yeah, he makes it known to them that you should just do it because the Lord sees you.
Yeah.
And that's your audience, is the Lord sees what you're doing, and that's all that needs to know what you're doing. And then other people will see you, but that's okay.
Right.
Don't do it for them.
Yeah.
You're not doing it to put on a performance. You're not doing it to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
You're doing it because of the profession that you're a follower of Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you're doing it. And the Lord knows that. Sure. And you do it in that humble, genuine manner. Others will recognize it. And then they will be impacted by it.
And let that take its course.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. And I think that's the key then, like for our journey, is that we have to be consistent about our actions, that they're in the image of Christ because they're in the image of Christ. And that's what we want to be about. And that the consequence of that is that our witness then becomes credible.
Absolutely.
So, let's continue in that journey and continue pursuing that kind of consistency together. Thank you for joining us today. If you'd like to suggest any future topics or questions to discuss, you can find us on Facebook or Twitter. And once again, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Mark.
And this has been For Your Journey.